What's good, Joe? Come on, dude. One thing I am asked constantly, more than anything else, when it comes to growing microgreens, is how do you keep your microgreens warm, or how do you grow them during the cold? That's a great question. Here we are in my greenhouse, and you got things looking pretty good right now. Things need to get watered. We'll get into that. But I'm in a weird place right now because we're in the holidays. So I have a lot of microgreens that I'm carrying over because we're not going to the market this week. We're going to actually be taking them on next week. That being said, I am allowing a lot of my microgreens to kind of wilt, and then we revive them. So basically I've been watering all my microgreens every other day. This doesn't really have much to do with keeping microgreens in the cold, really, but just a trick that I use in wilting my microgreens. I can water them every other day, especially this time of year. I don't really like doing this too much in the summer, but during the winter, I can actually get away with letting a lot of them wilt and then water them like kind of every other day, and it really slows down the process of growth. You can again do this in the in the summertime. It's a little bit more dangerous. In winter, there's enough moisture floating around, so these guys need to get watered. I probably will end up doing that now. Yeah, I might as well do that now. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not saying this time around I'm trying to wilt these things out to prolong them. I'm just not tripping because they're wilting right now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of helping me out. Anyway, you should try it out. I mean, I guess I did do it during the summer. It's a little bit, I don't like talking about it that much, man, because it's a little tricky, you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of know your system. And it really probably only pertains, most of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today only really pertains to people that are growing their microgreens outdoors or in some type of unheated structure, if you will. This time of year, we really don't have to water but every other day anyway, so it makes it really nice. There is something to watering your microgreens daily, even in the winter, if you do need them to grow a little bit faster. Or you need them to stay on point. Even though it doesn't seem like they need to be watered, that extra fresh water pushing through, I don't know, man, somehow it does something for them. What a perfect day to talk about growing microgreens in the cold, on a rainy day. It always sounds way worse outside than it actually is. It's not that bad. It's California. Anyhow, keeping the microgreens warm or growing microgreens during the cold, I think that's probably the better way to title this. Just off the bat, what I was kind of talking about before, all these microgreens right now would be very, very nice if I can hold them one more week. They're actually supposed to have gone out this Sunday, but we're actually not doing any markets this Sunday. I totally forgot not to seed these guys last week because we're actually now on a 2-week schedule. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but that's why we have so many of these right now. So at the moment, the cold is actually helping me out a lot. So the cold actually helps preserve the height of the microgreens. Hold on, yo. Dude loves pots. He loves anything plastic, really. Anyhow, it really helps keep the size of your microgreens down because when it gets cold, everything slows way down. So it does this in the microgreen world as well. And I'm kind of using that cold to help me out a little bit this time around. The wilt, like I was talking about before, will help out a lot as well. But it's something I don't like to do that often because it's a bit tricky. You know, you're always kind of dancing on that razor line edge when you're wilting, especially as far as I let these guys go. Right now during the cold, I will go 2 weeks just about for all my varieties. Definitely for the sunflower, definitely for the pea. Those are definitely on a 2-week schedule. Oh, this one. All right, you had your chance, dude. You had your chance. Look at him. Oh, he gave up. He gave up. This time of year, going outdoors, everything's about a 14-day grow, maybe a little bit longer, especially when you start getting into the world of the herbs. Definitely going longer. So my cilantro, the chives, if we decide to do that, that's at least a 21-day for those guys. But everything else is right about 14. Leave it. Let go. Let go. Look. Where are you finding those? Anyway, is right about 14-day grow. So that's kind of what we do. We'll expand the amount of time that we have. It really helps on the amount of heating just by us expanding. You could get away with that out here. I'm in California, you know what I'm saying? A lot of other people can't get away with that. Another thing that I've been doing this year, check it out, is I just installed a new radiant heater for this bed and up here. At the moment, you got, can you see that? The temperature's right about 101 degrees. So that's about what we have going through these tubes, or these hoses, that ultimately are heating up the bottom of the bed, of those trays. So I have some of these guys sprouted. We just started these guys on Tuesday. So you can see they're already starting to sprout on us. So we're looking pretty good, man. We'll be able to keep up definitely with our sprouting, and hopefully to ultimately keep up the amount of production just on our regular day-to-day like we are in the spring and in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Probably not summer, but definitely in the spring, and I'm cool with that. I'll show you guys a little bit later how we built this out. I'm really glad that I got it done right on time. I'll kind of break it down for you guys. The way it works is like this. So basically, I have that 55-gallon drum, and attached to it, I have a heating element for like your water heater or whatever. As you guys can see, it gets pretty flooded back here. It's on a weird little dip, so no matter what I do, water always comes through. It still does the job, so I don't really worry too much about it. And it doesn't happen that often. And the microgreens don't really seem to get affected by it, so I never really trip on them. But anyhow, inside that drum there, from here we go into this pump. That is, I think, a quarter-horse pump. And that pump is also made to actually handle hot water, so it really works well for this. Then we go through this guy right here. This is a backflow preventer up here, and then it just goes through this matrix right here. Right, this is like my output. You can feel the warmth coming off of this thing. This is the output, so it actually pushes the water out. Then all the way at the end of the bed, it turns back around and comes back into these pipes here. That come down here, run, down there, and then back into that pipe. The top one does the same thing. It just drops from here, and then it just gravity feeds, excuse me, all the way back into that canister there. And the hot water just constantly goes over and over again. Like I said, it's not finished. I still need to put some insulation on it and a couple other little things, and a better top and all that. But so far, so good, man. It's holding its heat. I want to get the insulation on there so I can put a thermostat on it. That's part of the beauty of those whole things. You know what I'm saying? It's water. Our water is just pretty much a thermal mass. Stop. Where are you getting those from? Stop, wherever you're getting it from, stop doing that. Water retains heat really well. So if I can just get that a little bit more insulated, so radiant heat isn't coming off of the can, or I'm not losing any radiant heat, or I'm not losing any heat coming off of the metal can, which I am during the cold. So if I keep that nice and insulated, I should be able to put a thermostat in there and then have it to where my element gets turned off at a certain degree, so that element's not working all the time. And then when it does need to turn on, basically it just turns on and it just kind of fills in the gap as opposed to filling up that whole body of water at one time. So that's the ultimate goal, because I hope that by doing that, ultimately I'll shut down or turn down the amount of electricity I'll be using to actually run my grow. As you can see, I do have a bucket heater up there as well. I've been kind of thinking about playing around with that as a way of introducing even hotter water into this whole grow, and then having that as well shut off when the thermostat reaches a certain point. I don't know exactly what that is. My overarching goal is to be able to heat up my whole entire greenhouse, or at least raise the temperature in the greenhouse a little bit with just that system. So I'm not exactly sure as to where I need that. These guys can get a little bit warmer. It is working really well, and it is maintaining the microgreens, and they are growing at a faster rate than if they are off. Nevertheless, I don't think it's going to be enough come the deep cold of winter. We're actually damn near in January now. So it might go a little bit deeper. We might see a deeper winter, or it might be colder longer is what I'm getting at. And as long as it doesn't get too much colder than what it's getting now, we should be straight. Who knows? I don't want to take the chance. But anyway, what I'll do is kind of play around with that a little bit longer and see what I can do, and see if I can't really get that water heated up a little bit more to then heat the entirety of this greenhouse. Yeah, or I might just get a hot water heater in here and do that whole thing. But we'll talk about this heater later. I'm just kind of giving you guys a little couple of ideas as to what you can be doing to heating your greenhouse. What I definitely will be doing by next week is turning on my large propane heater in here. That really works out a lot. We will then also be throwing up our cloud. Right now I still just have the shade cloth on. It hasn't, I mean, now just maybe the last couple of weeks it started to get kind of cold, like this kind of stuff just started happening around here now. It's been cold, but nothing major, man. It's kind of still been like, we've been getting into the 60s, 70s, 80s. But now that it has, and it's time to get this going, I'm gonna go ahead and just roll all this stuff in. It's a really easy build here to do that, literally just to hang our sheet cloth, hang up our cloud, our row cover, as well as putting our propane heater down and then allowing that hot air, or allowing the fan to blow the hot air back here, and then capturing it all in the clouds. Right about to the edge of where I'm standing now. That allows it to where, no heat gets out, and it really just retains this whole entire area and maximizes the efficiency of the propane heater. So we'll be putting that guy in here next week. Like I said, right now, guys, I really kind of need it like this. I don't want it too much warmer, so I'm not going to be turning on any heaters in here. The microgreens that we need to keep warm, I'm just going to keep on our hot bench here. All the big ones will get moved off into where it's cooler anyway, and then we'll just allow these guys to constantly get a little bit bigger. These sunflower, however, I might throw those on just because I wouldn't mind those for next week. It might be nice. I'm not certain if these other sunflower are going to make it. Everything's a little wishy-washy. Oh yeah, that's kind of what we do for heat around this. You can also, another thing that I've done before, a row cover is your friend. Especially for those of you that might live in areas that it gets frost, especially a light frost. If you throw that row cover on, there's a really good chance that you won't get any kind of frost on your microgreens, especially if you could put like some kind of small heater. I like to go propane because I find that that's the cheapest, underneath the table or underneath your bench, and let that heat rise. And then what it's going to do, capture all of the heat and not allow it to kind of get out of your microgreens, around your out of your grow area. This is for people that aren't doing a lot. Also with these guys as well, something else that I've done with these types of shells, what I've done as well is again, I put the row cover right on top of it, and it really helps out in retaining a lot of that heat, especially as it gets warmer throughout the course of the day. We're not getting a lot of sun today, so it's not going to be that warm. However, it is definitely warmer in here than it is outside. It won't be that way for long, but I can feel warm in here. Yeah. Come on, come here. You can even tell. You can tell? Oh, this is getting excited. But yeah, it's wet right there. But yeah, it's definitely cooler right there than it is in here. We are double insulated, you see? So I'm actually pumping a bunch of air in between 2 layers of plastic. At least just for the ceiling. I do have 2 layers all through the whole entire structure. Right now I'm only using it just for the top, just because it's been really hot, like I said before. And we're just kind of getting into the cold. Next week I'll open up the wiggle wire. Let's see. Just beyond here. I'll open up that wiggle wire and then it's already latched. At least most of the places are already latched. And then we'll just let that air pump through the sides and insulate us all the way through. But for right now, like I said, it's been working pretty damn well. We'll go ahead and let it ride. Keep thinking about building some of these. This was not my original thought or idea of laying out this whole heater system. Originally, I was going to use the drip irrigation system, just a regular small poly, the same stuff that you'd find at the hardware store, and do the exact same idea. But my friend Jason Keeney, he actually had a bunch of this stuff laying around. He had actually a couple of these manifolds lying around. Again, we're going to get into this later. And he just gave me these. So I just decided I might as well use the real thing. The bucket filler, the bucket warmer I had from other builds, you know what I mean? Actually, a lot of that build was all a part of, like I was getting at before, another heater that I was going to be building here. So I kind of already had some of the pieces, y'all, and I just started throwing them together. But I hope that gives you somewhat of an idea of how to maybe get stuff going, not to be discouraged during this time of year. Keeping it kind of light around here, if you can't really tell. Most of this stuff, like I said before, man, if it makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not really too concerned. It's just stuff that we kind of have left over from last week. Stuff that normally would go into becoming a market mix, but it just, because we took off, for the holiday, we're going ahead and let it ride. And hopefully we can keep it going for at least one more week. That would be pretty dope, especially if we keep it going back here. But as soon as we get back here on Monday, I will definitely be building all of our heaters. So I guess stay tuned. You'll see all of that, as well as getting you guys a little bit more up close and personal with the build or how I built this heater here. I already got part of that video already done, but I don't know. It's a lot. So we'll keep on working on getting that stuff together. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great holiday. Feliz Navidad. Happy Jamera, Kwanzaa. If people are still doing whatever they're doing, man, whatever it is that you do, I hope that you guys are doing it with love and peace and all that good stuff, man. Big up. Let's go. Oh, yes. Let's go. Let's go. Merry Christmas. Come on. You look like you did something wrong. Peace, y'all.